What's up, Internet? We are back with another one of these. This time we are doing Evolution Worlds. I'll go into how I know about this game, but this is one of the most obscure RPGs on the N64. I played it once before, many years ago, and I've always wanted to try it again, so here we are. But this game is probably the most obscure one that ever got released in North America, and it's certainly one of the weirdest, even though it is one of the most, like, generic RPG dungeon crawlers you'll ever find. So let's just smack things with our giant fist because we have that. Bonk. So, Evolution World is, it's weird. This is kind of, like, compilation, kind of a definitive edition, kind of a port, and yet it's also none of those things at the exact same time. Like I said, it's a little weird, even though it's like the most generic RPG ever.
Ha! A wimpy monster like that was a piece of cake. Not even a problem.
And that's a good example right there. See, the original Evolution and its sequel, Evolution 2, were Dreamcast RPGs. They weren't terribly... I don't think they made a big splash. They were really just there to fill space in a library that didn't have so many RPGs. And it kind of does the same thing on the GameCube. But the thing is, when they brought it to the GameCube, they decided to combine the two into one game and add voice acting, which only existed in the second game and only a Japanese dub. So they redubbed the entire game in English for the GameCube release. But at the same time, you'd think that would automatically make it the definitive edition, and it kind of is, except as a compilation and like a remaster, it is awful because it actually axes about 70% of the dungeons from the first game.
We've come this far. The treasure must be nearby. You can
So,
go on, right?
it's got stuff that the original games didn't have, which ostensibly does make it the definitive edition, but it has significantly less at the same time. It's like a much more extreme example of what Skies of Arcadia Legends kind of was.
Then we are officially back in business. Hey,
Kind of.
look at this. This will get us out of the tricky.
Also, we've got a giant fist that comes out of a Swiss Army knife on the back because this game needs MacGuffins.
So let's
Every character has like a MacGuffin like that except for the girl. Also, all the characters are named after weapons. I remember that.
So obvious. This has to be a trap.
So, we're Mag Launcher. I believe our girlfriend's name is Linear Cannon. I believe there's a butler named Grenade, a girl named Chain Gun, another girl named Pepper Box. Everyone's named after weapons for some bizarre reason. But I've always wanted to replay this game, because I played it once, and it stuck with me, even though I'd never seen a copy elsewhere, really. I saw one in, like, a retro game shop, but they wanted, like, $300 for it, and it's like, yeah, no, this game isn't worth that. Skies of Arcadia, maybe. But this game is, like, one you use to fill out your collection more than anything. Also, it's the opening to Mega Man Legends. Ugh.
Phew. That was close. What were you doing, Linear? You have to run away when things get dangerous.
No, you have to get crushed. She disagrees. She wants to get crushed by everything. I want to point out Mag has, like, my exact haircut. And,
What about you?
like, it's slightly lighter colored, but it's not far off. I've got, like, a dark ruby red, whereas he's more for a carrot top, sort of my brother's hair color style.
Hey,
But I've got, like, the same, like, haircut. Or lack of one, I guess. Also, Vitruvian Groot, or something.
It's the messenger of light. That's the one the society told me about. All right, we did it.
We did it!
This is the place. The treasure
Except we
must
saw a
be
thing that ran past us, so clearly we're not going to get this. At all.
Well, well, Mag Launcher. Still going on adventures with that scaredy cat girl, huh?
This is our rich neighbor who's a total asshole. Also, she has a jetpack.
No, it couldn't be.
It could. It is.
Yup, it is. And I helped my treasure.
Chain, how did you get here? And where did you get that treasure?
I jetpacked past you, obviously.
I'm an adventurer too, you know. And finders keepers is the only rule among adventurers.
I didn't say it was a good dub. I just say it was dubbed in English, which the original version was not.
Cypher could have made it up here anyway.
To be fair, she has a jetpack. I guess that's fair.
It can't fly. You should be grateful to me for saving you the needless.
Actually, the dub kind of reminds me a little of Mega Man Legends a little bit. Like, it's not great, but it's kind of enjoyably cheesy.
I heard this loud noise and saw you guys running for your lives. Bro shouldn't
Kind of
go
getting like
that. You
Tron Bond vibes off her.
for an adventurer.
You dirty, rotten...
Short.
You shouldn't even be here interrupting my work. The ruins are off limits to amateurs.
That's a weird zoom shot. Also, she's mute, except she isn't, except she is, except she isn't. It's weird and complicated. But, to be fair, as someone who's had to live that life too, I kind of get it, I guess.
It's that temper of yours that makes people mistake you for a man. Chain, if you could just stay calm and quiet, you might actually be kind of...
Mag is kind of a dick.
How dare you, you jerk!
Uh,
What does that have to do with it? Instead of arguing here, we should be working.
or we should fight each other. Actually, it's because
Well, now
she
to
just
play that one.
got complimented that now she wants to be in our party, kind of, sort of.
After
even
all,
though she hates
that would
us.
be 100 times more help than it
Yeah, she's definitely freaking Tron Bond.
So if you ever need my help, just come to my place.
I thought we were enemies. This is the quickest enemy to best friend, like, transformation ever. It happened over the course of, like, 2 minutes.
That Chain. No one can ever accuse her of not speaking her mind. And she took the treasure with her, too. Oh, man. Without the treasure...
And she's
I wouldn't
rich.
have any
Maybe we should
money.
take out a loan from her or something. Head pats. So, yeah, I rented this game once forever ago at a video store between my house and my high school. It's actually closer than my actual video store I usually go to.
I can just see Gray's angry face.
But I never went there because they didn't have many games. And I swear the lady running it was 800 years old and hated everyone that went through the doors, and I was kind of scared of her. So I just never went. But one day I somehow found my way in there and I saw this, and I actually went out and bought a $20 membership fee at that crappy video store just to rent this once. And I only got one time to rent it, but I enjoyed it. Even though I don't think it was all that great. And that place closed down, and then the day it closed down I actually wanted to buy this, and unfortunately it already sold, but I bought a bunch of different games from there at the same time for like $1 each, so it wasn't too bad.
Guess so. I sorta had to use a
To be fair, I was not there to use those items, Mag. That's entirely on you.
Mag, listen to yourself. Sorta had to. Lost money. For generations, the Longshot family has produced...
You are the worst adventurer. You are a disgrace to your family.
Is it not the Longshot family's long-cherished dream to find Evolution, the legendary Cypher? Yet now, our operations lose money, and we depend on the society for work. Someday, we will find Evolution.
Thank you, Exposition Emilio.
Come on, Gray. You worry too much.
Very well. I truly hope so.
Actually, he's pretty well voiced, as much as I want to laugh at the dubbing.
You don't know the importance of your position as head of the Longshot family.
You need to be better at being an adventurer. Stop sucking so bad.
He lacks seriousness. He's downright irresponsible.
Hey, Gray, I'm...
Yeah, you're not internal monologuing, you're speaking out loud there, buddy.
Are you even listening to me?
Nope.
Nonetheless, I have served the Longshot family for many years. I have seen
This guy exists to be a freaking exposition dump.
Experience tells me that his puzzling confidence is the unmistakable mark of a true leader.
Or a complete and total dumbass.
To a magnificent adventurer. That I know.
Wanna go dungeon crawling?
Now then, Mag, you and I must work together to make that glorious day come.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Then let's begin immediately by going into town to ask the society for
Go to the guild, get a quest.
Society assignments, huh? Yeah, let's do that. Instead of sitting around, let's
I mean, you've been standing this entire time, but sure.
Let's go for it, Linear.
Or don't. I remember Linear being kind of the worst character ever, and she's stuck in your party.
Amazing! Incredible! It's a jade core.
Your voice is not matching your lack of lip motions there, Nop the researcher.
So rare to find something from that period, let alone in such.
I think this game was made on a bit of a budget.
It's just a little something to say. Hi. Let's get to know each other again.
And she's the best teammate ever, by the way. The neat thing about this game is every character had like their wonky little MacGuffin item that gives them some sort of like combat advantage through, or combat exploration advantage as well as combat. Hers is weird though because it just basically throws out a flare to attract all the enemies ever. I remember that because I used her a lot because I liked her.
Imagine that. I'm so lucky. That's why
I think Mag's giant fist is there to break boxes mostly.
How do you do? I'm Pepper Bob.
I'm getting kind of a Dragon Ball launch vibe from her, honestly.
Have a stranger call me by my first name.
Yes, you're totally famous. She's gonna completely steal all your loot, by the way.
Anyway. With you in charge.
Uh,
The Launcher family is surely good hands. Knocking dead, kid. By the way, does that girl be
no, she doesn't. That's why she kind of sucks.
Yeah, her name's Linear. She's not a sci-frame user.
She just wanders around and gets crushed by buildings unless I pull her out of danger. That's her whole thing.
Really? It must be tough keeping up with you, Meg. You look like the type of guy who thrives on danger.
I just noticed, but Linear's got like platform sandals that are like 6 inches tall. Those have got to be a pain in the ass to walk around in.
You have the scene at the milk bar, so
Also, milk bar.
see me sometime. I'll even go on one of your adventures. Well, it was nice meeting you, little lover boy. See you around.
I like her. She's fun. Although her adventuring item is basically useless.
Her is really cool. Don't you?
Be jealous. Be more jealous. Damn it, Linear.
Well, hello there, Meg.
Nina the receptionist, you also do not seem to have a mouth that actually matches what you say.
Yeah, you could say that. So, do you have any new assignments?
Give me adventure, Nina.
I need one because I took a beating on that last assignment.
Yeah, I lost all the money ever. I'm a great adventurer, you can tell.
Did your servant Gray give you his standard lecture again?
Very funny.
Yes,
You know
yes he did.
don't you?
Let me have adventure now, please.
Are you referring to my age? I just have a lot of experience here. Unlike the people sent from the other.
A lot of experience?
I could skip all this, but I kind of don't want to
I
either.
understand perfectly. Anyway, I wish somewhere there were ruins just loaded with treasure. But with
Dream.
Yeah, because no monsters ever would stand near treasure.
But we can't, and that's why we hire Sci-Frame carrying.
Because if it wasn't dangerous, anyone could do it.
yeah, I guess so.
Only one of the ruins can be requested now.
Okay,
Cool.
I got it.
Let's go.
All right, I'll get you clearance right away. You can leave on your new adventure whenever you're ready. I know they're far, but it's no problem because your family has a seaplane, right? It's just a hop.
We have a plane. Now we just need a pilot. And we're good.
Well then, good luck. Give it your best.
Come on, Linear, let's go.
Let's go, Linear. We gotta go get you crushed by another building because you don't have common sense to run. Or at least stand near something to, like, you know, defend yourself with. I've been told door frames are pretty good. Okay, so go to the plane to do that. Go find party members. You can have a party of 3 if I recall. And you're stuck with Linear. And being stuck with her is the best way of putting it, honestly. So I think we want to go this way. Because we want to get someone into our party, ideally. I gotta say that the top down is not the best.
Hey, it's
Wow. To be fair, the kid's direct. He's not trying about his feelings. There's Chain if we wanted her. I don't like Chain at all. That door is locked. I'm not a big fan of the top-down camera. I've already kind of gone through everything I know about this game. We're gonna talk to Pepper and see if we can... Yes.
I did it. What, money? I'd like to, but I'll give you a discount.
There we go. Alright, so we got a party. Time to go on an adventure. The only other thing I really remember about this game is, in spite of the fact they cut like 70% of the first game in this game, I remember there being like a dungeon from the second game that was like 100 levels deep, and I played through it once and I wanted to kill myself. It was the most obnoxious thing. Let's go on an adventure, because I don't want to be expositioned at anymore. I want adventure. Alright, so now we're in the actual adventuriness. There's a jump button. Cool. I think there are like spike traps you need to jump over. Oh, okay, that's what I'm looking for. Because that honestly looks... Not gonna lie, it's a little bit, you know, nausea-inducing to have the camera this close in very confined places. Also, you can't use the C-stick to control the thing. You have to use the shoulder buttons, which is a little awkward, but... I kind of prefer to have this, although I will say it's not perfect, because, like, top-down feels like what it was designed for. This feels better, but I feel like the character takes up too much space. So let's run through a fight. And I'll try and figure out how to use our special abilities and stuff as we go. Okay. There's actually movement, too. You can move to, like, a front-line, back-line sort of situation. Bop. And that's why we love her. How is she in those, like, giant platform sandals? Those just... I can't imagine being able to run in something like that. Punch! I like the big hand. Got a bonus for taking too few turns. Hooray for us. Okay, you can swap with, X. I always get X and Y confused. Alright, there we go. So A uses your special ability, and hers is, of course, just to attract everything. You'd think it would let you get, like, a first strike or do some damage to your opponent or something. Nope, it's just a flare that attracts every fight to you, which is not the most useful. Let's use a skill. Laser Blast. I was reading the back of this box, and the way it marketed itself was really not very good. It said, like, mystical items, devastating skills. What's the last one? Classic turn-based combat. That's how this markets itself, which, to be fair, is accurate. But, I mean, the whole marketing on the back is supposed to, like, make a game sound super amazing, whereas this just sounds like the most generic thing ever. And to be fair, it is, so it's on point, but... Yeah, so I can't do anything with Linear or Mag, because they both suck. Got a Nowlin-like herb, whatever that is. Item search, which I'm guessing tells you item locations in the dungeon. Okay, yeah, see, you can't really... The camera gets trapped on everything, so while I kind of like the behind the character sort of personalness of that view, it is really not that good. Okay, so now we've been paralyzed. Awesome. Got a navigator, which I'm guessing maps the thing. Because this is... It's basically a dungeon crawler, not dissimilar to, like the mystery dungeon type of things. Except it has, like, a turn-based RPG-style combat system that separates the adventure from the adventuring dungeons. Bop. Let's see what skills you have. You have... Play the ocarina. Let's do it. But yeah, I tried to get this game forever ago when that video store got shut down, and I couldn't. And I've always been looking for it. And I've only seen one copy in like a used game store, and they wanted like $300 for it, and I'm not paying that much for this. But a few weeks ago on the Discord, I was talking with some of the people on there, and I had found that one of my PSP games is apparently worth a metric shit ton of money. Called Hexy's Force, a little game that I got for like $5, and it was made by the same people who made this. And I was just told that, yeah, their games are getting a little bit more popular. It's probably going to be harder to find. And it was like, well, if I'm going to get any chance of ever getting this game again, that's going to be when. So I did it. I went and got this game. It wasn't as expensive as it would have been had I gone to that used game store. I think I got it for like $40, but... which is actually pretty inexpensive for GameCube titles nowadays, because they've all really ballooned in price. Like, not as bad as, say, Gotcha Force or Cubivore, but they're all kind of getting up there, with the exception of Rogue Leader. For some reason, Star Wars Rogue Leader is still cheap, and it's like the only game that is. But I like RPGs, I want to play them all. I've even got that terrible Phantasy Star card game that makes me sad. Got a cycle. I don't know what that is, but sure. What do we have around here? Yeah, I gotta say, there's not really a camera angle that works. Because this, you know, you're really, it gets caught on like corners and stuff like that, so it's actually really hard to see your character most of the time because of the corridor nature of these sorts of things. And down here, again, your character takes up a huge amount of visual real estate. And once you go into those corridors, which really are the worst part about this in terms of any sort of like visual acuity, you know, you get stuck on things, you go around a corner, you're stuck. It's just a mess to handle the camera in this game at all, it seems. Which is kind of a shame, honestly. Like, I'm going into this with very fond memories and wanting to really enjoy this. But I'm definitely seeing a lot of issues that are just things that could probably have been fixed with just simple quality of life things. Like, let me rotate my camera outside these walls. If you're really that determined to have these really tight corridors, let me rotate my camera through walls and then just apply a transparency effect. So many games have done that and it works. Because there doesn't really seem to be a camera angle that's really particularly effective in this game. I will say it is basically the most generic RPG in terms of combat, but I'm not disliking it by any means. Like, I like generic RPG combat, it's fun. Got a duckling apron. Okay, that sounds like equipment. Okay. Oh, I can actually equip different parts to my sci-frame, okay. No new headgear. Cannot be used with this character. Let's try giving it to Pepper because I really don't want to give... Yes, I can give it to Pepper. That gives her +5 evasion. Now, is that percentile, or is that just a random number to make me feel better? Because I don't really understand how evasion is calculated. Is that a full percentile? Is it a percentile that's initially weighed against a hit and accuracy rating of an opponent? There's a lot of information I'm not really getting from that. And I mean, ideally you just want the biggest numbers, sure, but it helps to understand really what the numbers actually mean. And that's just such a small, there's a face on that spider's butt. That's great. What is it, talent? Huh, let's talk to him then. You don't talk, you're a mute, but... Well, you didn't talk to them. Why have a separate for talents and skills? Like, I feel like those would be covered by the same effective thing. Okay, so let's use the hammer parts and see what happens. Bop! I gotta admit, I do like the really goofy weapons. Like, there's a style to this game that I quite like. It's got that going on for it. Alright. So, pepper attack. Maybe big damage to enemy. Let's try it. Boop! Fair enough. So what happens when it does nothing? Does she, like, whiff and fall on her butt or something? Okay, so these clearly seem to take whatever that second bar is to use these special attacks, but, like, there doesn't really seem to be any indicator of... Oh, there it is, okay. I was gonna say, there doesn't really seem to be any indicator of what uses what. But there is, it's just not available from, like, the first page. Okay, let's use... She has so many skills. Let's restore HP on herself. And I just clicked the wrong character because I'm using the D-pad like some weirdo that uses the D-pad on his GameCube controller.
I can't believe it.
I remember that voice clip for some reason. I don't believe it. I don't know why, but that stuck with me. It's weird what the brain really retains. Get a present.
Thanks, Linear.
She's so much taller than him. And part of that's those weird sandals she should not be running around in. That is not good adventuring wear. Alright. Laser blast. Double laser, because obviously. Alright. Like, I'm having fun with this, but I don't know. I think the dungeon crawling could probably be better done. Certainly with some, like, simple tweaks to the camera, if nothing else. And combat's just kind of nondescript RPG combat. Let me try something. I want to... Okay, we're gonna move Linear back. I'm not sure what that'll actually accomplish, but we'll see what happens. I'm guessing that just makes her harder to hit or something. Because I don't think it's a matter of your characters get like special attacks or like special ways to hit your opponent depending on what column they're in. I think it's just more enemies are more likely to attack closer enemies. I would think, but that's me just trying to apply some form of logic to all this. I will say the game is not the best at really explaining much. Got a Nowlin like herb. Ack. Okay, there is no discernible thing for traps. I'm guessing that there's probably something to detect traps, but as it stands, they're just sort of random and annoying. Not a big fan of that. Like, I'm fine with traps being hard to spot, but in games like this, I really like being able to, like, see a telltale sign of, like, a trigger for a trap or something. You know, like, see a subtle switch in the floor and the like, you know? Like, I'm not saying so far that this game's leaving the best impressions on me, but I'm still having fun with it. It's just, I see a lot of things that could very easily make this a significantly better game than what it's currently being. And then I think that TP we get is what we use to learn new skills. We get enough and then we like select a skill and we can learn it, I think is how this works. So let's go to... Or it could just be... Yeah, we need TP to learn this stuff, okay. Like, so I was looking at talents and like, okay, that's talent points. That's clearly what we need for that, but no. Okay, so this will actually attack an area thing, so... I think team and enemy placements are really just about taking advantage of locations and relativity to one another. So I think the best thing to do would probably be have one character on the right or left stand in the front or back, and then have the other one on the opposite end stand on the opposite. That way there's no one's occupying the same column or lane. to minimize potential from like special attack damage or something. Which seems like a pretty simple strategy to get around most threats. Okay, I think we need to go this way. And go this way. I do actually have the Dreamcast version of this. This is one of the few Dreamcast games I actually own that isn't the worst thing ever. Okay, I'm glad I found that, but like, why not show me some telltale sign that there's something there? Even if it's super subtle and I have to pick up on it, you know? But like, I think about my Dreamcast collection, and I'm setting up my Odin right now, which should be able to do Dreamcast stuff, so I don't have to rely on my really fiddly Dreamcast to show it off. But I got a couple of really, really awful Dreamcast games I want to show off. Like, I've got this one game called 7th Cross Evolution, which I swear is like the worst game on the system. And it's completely indecipherable as to what that game actually is. And I think it'll be... I have an idea for like a fun thing to do with that, but it's really unbelievably bad. I also have Blue Stinger, which I've had one or two people on my Discord request that I play. I don't know why. I kind of want to, though, just because I know it's really not good, but it's one of those games that's almost close enough to actually be so bad it's good, but it just misses. And it's sad that it does that. And, oh gosh, I've got so many really bad Dreamcast games. Pretty much all my Dreamcast games are really, really bad. I've got this, which is okay. I've got Sonic Adventure, which I think is a classic, but I also think it's an affront to all the senses. But I still love it. I've got Mach-In X, which is probably the one genuinely really good game I've got on the Dreamcast. That's a game I want to show off more of, because I quite like Mach-In X. That was a sort of Ghost in the Shell, first-person hacky-slashy shooty thing. It was a very, very weird game, but very fun. And just running around these halls reminds me of this game we had in elementary school. It came on all the, like, candy-coated Mac, really old PCs we had. Well, they were Macs, not PCs, obviously, but, you know. And I think it was called Giza. And it was like this weird game where you'd run around this, like, pyramid, trying to, like, find an exit. It was like a maze game, and I think once you got past the first level, it had, like, combat, but no one could get past the first level because the maze was so weird in the first level. I don't know. I kind of want to play that again, honestly. My elementary school had so many weird PC games, and I think they were pretty much all freeware. Like, there was this game called Monkey Shines, which was like this really awkward, super jank 2D platformer that was literally the favorite game. Like, everyone just agreed it was the best game in the school. And I don't think anyone ever beat, like, the one-level demo. Because it was... I've seen people try and play that game, and it's really just dickishly designed. Oh, good. There was like a... There was a sort of motocross game that was sort of like the Trials games, where you had to, like, physics your way out of... to get to one end of the stage to the other. I don't know what that game was, but I saw it. And I played a lot of that game. There was this, like, 2D top-down, like, competitive sort of asteroids thing, where you had to fight your opponent, and you could either be a rocket or like a UFO. I remember that game. And there was Giza, and that was pretty much all the PC games my elementary school had, and everyone just played those for like 6 years straight, even though they were all basically just really short freeware demos. But these dungeons and just running around the dark kind of really reminds me of Giza for some reason. Bonk. I'm not gonna lie, this game is not gonna top Skies of Arcadia anytime soon. For my favorites. Favorite N64, my favorite GameCube RPG. And it's certainly not gonna top Tales of Symphonia, anytime soon. I would say this is better than Phantasy Star Online, the terrible card thing, though. But that game was one of the most imbalanced things I've ever played. Bonk. Skills. Use a spell. You have no offensive spells. Boost strength. That's actually useful. Alright. Okay, use your skills to pay the bills. Fire shot. I swear that's an effect from Bomberman's second attack. Talents.
Come on over here, Meg.
Aw, he got a hug. And now he's got more health. I'm not really sure I understand the value of talents versus skills being separate. The only real thing I can think about it is that talents, at least in Mag's case, seem to be based around the, let's use Smart Laser, why not? Seems to be based around other teammates interacting with him, in which case that should simply be a skill for that other person. I would think. But maybe they just didn't know what to do with him for, you know, talents or anything, so it's just like, well, we'll have a different character interact with him and that'll be his talent, I guess. Alright, well, there's the way up, but we don't want to go up just yet. We want all the loot. Okay. But, yeah, these super long stretches are reminding me also of, freaking Robotica on the Saturn. Oh, man. I'm sad I remember that game. That's a game I should actually show off at some point. I reviewed it forever ago, and it's such a terrible, terrible, terrible game. I mean, this isn't. I would say it's about average. But it's certainly got a whole lot of issues, too. Okay, we got 4 guys. Can we do a group thing? 1 attack. Do you have anything that attacks an entire group? Double laser. That actually attacks 2 full rows. That's pretty good. I quite like that. Throwing out like a mirror ball to redirect your lasers. That's quite cool. Skills. Use your spells. No, I want strength spell. Although defense might be more effective in this situation since we're outnumbered. Alright. Claymore. It's not a two-handed sword wielded by William Wallace. That's a big spider with a face on its butt. Butt face. I could have dealt with the string it shot me not being brown. That has implications, and I don't like that. Quite like that move. Punch. I think we're gonna need to use some kind of healing spell. Alright, health recovery. One friend, status restoration. Do you have anything that will... nope. Okay, fair enough. Then we'll use first aid on Linear, because she's about to die. There we go. There's also a, I believe, Neo Geo Pocket Color version of Evolution. And it had like the jankiest translation I've ever seen. Well, that's a bit inaccurate. I've seen some unbelievably jank translations, but that's a pretty bad one. Alright. Let's grab some loot. Squishy sandals. Okay. cannot be used. Use pepper because I don't particularly want to give linear anything. I guess we're giving it to linear. They squish when you walk, but I'm betting they didn't actually have that effect in-game if you swap to linear. Okay. Skills. Use your double laser. And then we'll probably set up a defensive spell from linear. So, skills. Protection spell. Yeah, if you went at an angle, like an angled line with your team, your opponents would have the hardest time to hit you. It would have serious issues using your abilities, like to heal yourself and boost yourself up, but otherwise it would probably be the most effective way to do anything. Punch. I do like that you boost your FP when you just use regular attacks. That means that you're not completely screwed out of abilities if you're just, you know, not properly equipped. So you can slowly rebuild your FP as you go. That's a sensible balance. I like that. And I should really just start using specials as mag because I don't have any reason not to. Skills, use first aid, use little first... I can't do any of that. Okay, bonk them with your frying pan. Bonk. There we go. Level 9! Hooray! Level 8. And it looks like she's kind of doing the chicken dance a little bit. What we got here? Visual... Nowlin. Enemy search. Not all this stuff is immediately clear what it does. Like, enemy search, okay, easy enough. And I could probably infer that visual probably lets you spot things like traps and stuff a little easier, maybe, but... Again, I think you should be able to do that at least somewhat with your own eyes. Got a rat. Let's punch him a whole bunch. Okay, so let's build up some FP with Pepper. She's doing some decent damage. Bonk. Enemies go. Okay, Mag, use your skills to pay the bills. Magna combo. 1, 2, 3 punch and upper combo. What about hammer? I can't use that just yet, but man, I feel like we should just... Yeah, let's wait on the hammer to spend more of this stuff, because hammer seems more effective than just a hand. And if nothing else, it's far more entertaining. Okie doke. Let's go fight rats. Doing some dungeon crawls. Playing an RPG that's kind of generically bad and average. I just targeted the wrong thing. It's kind of weird that the game doesn't pick up on the implications that there's two enemies next to each other. My attack could hit them. I'm not going to immediately just decide that's definitely what we're going to do because that's sensible. Punch. I do appreciate that on the right side you can see the turn order and the enemies. As we've damaged them, they've been flashing more and more. That's kind of nice. That kind of gives you an idea of just how damaged they are. It'd be nicer if there was something in the actual enemy, like animations or like visual effects, to sort of greater indicate that they were damaged, but it's nice that there is something that can tell you at least that, you know, you're hurting the enemy instead of just keep wailing on it and maybe it'll fall down eventually, possibly. You know? Oh.
I can't believe it.
Voice acting in this game, it's a treat, but not for the reasons it was probably intended to be. Alright. More points for us means more abilities later. Can't say no to that. Alright. There's nothing down there, so let's go this way. Jump. What does that headgear even do? Like, okay, goggles, that protects your eyes, but what's the little, like, flares up the side supposed to actually do? Are they there to, like, create some sort of smoke screen so he can run away? I feel like that's not going to protect your head all that much, given how little of his actual head it, like, covers. Some design elements in games just don't make a lot of sense. I mean, the rule of cool is a thing, I guess, but at the same time... Okay, we have not found the exits. Just circle back and try and find our way to the stairs. But yeah, the first game in Evolution, I think, had something like 8 dungeons, and I think they cut it down to like 3. So you got this and like 2 more, and then it's just, you know, start the next game. Which is not great, because I don't think the game is particularly long, but I do remember it kind of dragging from the Dreamcast. But at the same time, again, there's no effective definitive edition, because this version that adds stuff also takes stuff away. That bugs me. Because like stuff like Skies of Arcadia, it's very much the same. It added a whole bunch of stuff the Dreamcast version didn't have, but it's also censored, so you're kind of, in a sense, getting less. But you're also getting more. And it's frustrating, because if you want to have like the full experience, you kind of have to play both versions, even if it's just small changes like that. Nothing there. There's the stairs. Go on. I think the game kind of expects you, maybe not with the first dungeon, but I think it's expecting you to like go down a few floors and then head back, like restock and everything, but I've yet to run to a point where I really need to do that. Again, this is basically the first dungeon, it's tutorial time, but... No interrupt data present. What does that mean? I have no idea what that means. I can only think that that maybe means like a mid-fight save or something. I should have tried to heal, but I didn't, so let's fight a boss. Okay, we didn't see this here. We didn't really run into this thing. It's just, now we're fighting it. Also, why is this big frog thing got a rib cage on the outside and a screw on its head? Don't have enough FP. Okay, we're gonna just fight it then. Squish. Okay, I like that animation for what that's worth. Okay, use the protection spell, because I'd rather not get completely raped from these people. Alright, Mag, you're gonna use your hammer. Still not quite enough to use that, so use this hammer. Bop! I do like that squishing animation, that's cute. Okay, we don't have enough for that, so just use our regular attack. I'm hoping... Well, I was gonna say I'm hoping he doesn't hit Mag, but I'm hoping that doesn't happen either. Okay, this turn we're gonna heal the hell out of our teammates, because we need to do that. Alright. Use your big fancy ass hammer. Ah, not enough. Fine, just use regular attacks and punch. It looks confused as to why we're hurting it, and then proceed to squish us. Well, that defensive boost is no joke. Still not enough, okay. Fine. Can we use our... Not enough for that either. I guess we're just gonna have to straight up attack. I was hoping to get the attack boost and defensive boost. Although, I will say, I don't think I really see anything that indicates that my defense is boosted. Like, I know it's happened, but I don't know for how long. And it might have already, you know, worn off for all I know. I haven't gotten any sort of notification about it, but I don't see anything that inclines me to think that it hasn't happened. Okay, Pepper. Smart lasers. And that's a dead boss that came out of nowhere and made no sense. But we leveled up. And that's the important thing. Linear really is like Diet Colette Brunel. Except she came from, you know, before Colette Brunel was a thing. Come on, let's go back. I wanted to explore the big open room and see if there's any treasure, but I guess not. Thanks, Mag. You're definitely a great adventurer.
Congratulations.
I do appreciate that all, like, the completely pointless side characters have voices. Like, nowadays, with games with as insanely high budgets as we get, a lot of, you know, JRPGs are still, at best, partially dubbed. But this game does seem to have a full dub, and that is, if nothing else, pretty remarkable.
Mag, you can do something if you set your mind to it.
I've also now finished 1/3 of the first half of this game.
You ain't seen nothing yet. Those ruins were a piece of cake. Next time,
We'll give you the intermediate ruin, then.
Listen to you. I like your spirit, so we'll use you again. Keep up the good work. We're counting on you.
Okay, well this isn't exactly dubbed, but I mean...
I had so much fun on your adventure, Meg.
Yeah, I think each character takes like a different cut, and she's like the best adventurer, so she has like the highest cut. But still, you know, she's very effective.
He's neat in his own way, but a daring woman like Miss Pepper, I really admire people who are so cool like that. Both men and...
yeah, I guess so.
I guess so.
It's important.
Just gotta stay cool.
Hello, Mag. The society is closed for the day. Why don't you call it a day and go...
Go home, Mag. You fixed your big blunder. Penam. Like, I do like that all these little side characters do have full dubs. That's something that doesn't happen today, for some reason.
Why, how cute.
You know, that's quite cool.
You need to wait until tomorrow to leave on an adventure. Unlike most people, I like to get to bed early.
That is objectively a wrong way to live your life, Pepper, but, you know, you do you. Let's make fun of Chain, because she didn't go this time. No thanks, Chain, you suck. Alright. There's gotta be a save point around here. I imagine. Unless it's just a start menu type thing.
Well done, Mag. Today's adventure
Our adventure was a big success after you completely whiffed the previous one.
See? Didn't I tell you I wouldn't make any more mistakes? I'm darn good when I set my mind to something.
I am
Eh.
so relieved. If only your father were here.
My father. I wonder how he is. Since Linear's letter, there's been no word from him at all.
Ah, yes.
Father's missing because anime.
1 month after your father disappeared at the ruins. The snow was
Exposition.
falling in flakes, and suddenly Linear appeared
This
alone.
random girl who's a total mute showed
She
up.
held a letter from your father. Please, Mag, watch after Linear until my return.
We had to assume Linear was her actual name. See, that's the thing. Her name's actually Jill. Linear was just like the name of something she was carrying, but no one picked up on that. And she's a mute, so they couldn't get that information from her.
Years have gone by since that night Linear first came. It must be something serious that's keeping him away. But he will return. You mustn't lose heart, Mag.
Lose heart? No one's losing
I'm an
heart.
adventurer.
Father's an adventurer. I'm sure he's on an adventure somewhere.
That's the
He's
spirit,
dead.
Mag.
He's
You are
definitely,
so
definitely
wrong.
dead, Mag.
It seems like only yesterday that I was changing your diapers.
Okay, you need to work on your interior monologue, sir.
In secret from everyone after you wet the bed. Ah, the memories. Those days are gone forever. It's a little sad.
Hey, don't bring up old
Seriously,
stuff.
Internal monologues are internal for a reason, good sir. That's a huge bed.
I slept like a log.
Look at how big that is compared to him. That bed's like 5 times his size.
Good morning, Mag. At last you are awake.
Morning, Gray. Good morning, Linear.
I did not awaken you this morning as you seemed exhausted from your adventure. You were sleeping like a baby.
Thanks, Gray. Boy, I wish you were this nice every morning.
But you're not. You're horrible help and you're getting fired.
Every morning? I couldn't possibly allow you to sleep past noon every day. Someone from the 8th Imperial Army came this morning and caused a
What?
Uh-oh.
Imperial Army?
Army causing problems.
couldn't tell them you were still sleeping, so I sent him away and told him we would contact
You know, that's nice for the Army to just say, okay, we'll come back later if he's still asleep.
Hey, I was tired.
My experience, armies will just, you know, wake you up and stuff. They tend to not be, like, overly, you know, accommodating for your needs to sleep and stuff. You are really hung up on the Psi-Frame evolution, aren't you there, Gray? Okay, I get it. You want out, Mr. Cat. Cats. They be what they are. Entirely selfish, but we love him anyway. Which means you. So I hope you know all this stuff.
Me? Knowledge of evolution?
I think they meant your dad, but you're a disgrace to the Launcher family, Mag.
The 8th Empire is said to be the most technologically advanced of the Eastern powers, now jostling for supremacy.
Jostling? Do you mean jockeying? Jostling doesn't seem like the right word there.
So the mighty 8th Empire is looking for evolution, huh? I guess I'd better get off my butt, too.
Spoilers, but the Empire is the bad guys, as empires always are.
Just go to Pan Am Port to meet with the investigating. After all, we're talking about evolution, the legendary Psi-Frame
That we've searched 100 years for.
not even the 8th Imperial Army will
That would mean what? Your father and grandfather did it? That's not really all that long a time. 100 years is really not that long in a family history, really. It's like 2 generations.
Come on, Linear, let's go.
Although, to be fair, nowadays we live in a time where people live to be like 80, 90, 100 years. You know, 100 years ago people lived 20 years, so...
Take care of things while we're gone, Gray.
Very well. Have a good time, Mag.
Actually, I'm just looking for a save point. If I could have one of those, that would just be super. Nope, we're getting more cutscenes, okay.
Oh, why are there 2 of you? I had heard that Asrock Launcher had 1 son. At least I'm fairly sure that's what the briefing report said.
I'm evil.
I am the divine
I'm definitely evil. You can tell by my face.
inheritor and direct descendant of the Leopold dynasty. And I am supreme commander of the 8th Imperial Army, Admiral in
Although that
charge
voice
of the
sounds familiar.
Regional Forces. Welcome.
Although I don't think the voice cast of this game actually did very much.
Anyone who knows anything about archaeology, or an adventurer for that matter, would have heard of it. It contains limitless energy, or it can create such energy. There are many legends, all different. We don't know.
So it's a thing that people don't even know if it exists or what it can do. So it's basically actually worthless. Got it.
Even know if such a thing ever existed.
Okay, so it's literally worthless.
It appears in legends and stories, but in no history books.
Yes, but I think it definitely exists.
Actually, we have been digging in Imperial ruins for the last few years, and our knowledge has advanced rapidly.
He has big poofy pants.
As a result of this, we are quite sure that evolution does exist. And that
Northrop.
it is right here in the Northrop Republic.
That's incredible. I knew it existed. I'll have to start looking for it myself.
Yeah, because that's what you want to say to the people who are grilling you about information about it, who are trying to find it themselves. Saying that you're definitely going to find it for yourself.
As you like. We just wanted to get the cooperation of this country's society. But
And then we'll swipe it from underneath your nose because we're a big, powerful organization and you're one person.
Interesting news?
it seems that your father, Asrock Launcher,
Is dead.
might have already discovered something extremely important relating to evolution.
And it's definitely not linear.
What? My father? He never told me anything.
Well, it was just a
The plot of this game is,
investigating
not
anyway.
really subtle, and everyone involved is kind of just
Now,
dumb.
You don't remember anything that might lead to Evolution's discovery, do you? Anything at all might be useful. Stories about ruins, artifacts.
Not really.
Well, as a matter of fact,
Well, what?
everything he brought home from the ruins he traded to the society. We were always in debt.
Really, that's too bad. So none of these objects are in your hands anymore?
Nope. Well,
By now,
maybe my big fist thing, but otherwise, nope.
That's too bad.
That means you're gonna have to go to every museum in the country.
Now we have no more clues to go on.
That's a face.
Now we'll have to go after Evolution the slow way.
Well, that's the most efficient way to do it things sometimes.
Well, thank you very much for your cooperation. Sorry to have wasted your time. You may go now, Mag Launcher.
Hey, that's Sir Mag Launcher to you.
that's not a very nice way to thank somebody.
It's just a figure of speech.
I'm also the villain, so I don't care.
More use for you.
Thanks a lot. No one's ever been so rude to me. Let's go, Linear. There's nothing more for us here.
Yeah, there's one more thing I would like to ask.
Oh, so you've changed your mind?
Yeah, seriously, ask before you offend the guy. That makes more sense.
I was wondering, would you give Linear over to me? I'm sure she would be very happy.
No, and also creepy, and also no.
What are you talking about? Are you making some kind of bad joke?
That was a weird way to, like, looking at his face when he said that, he had, like, the biggest smile on his face responding to that. That was such a weird
We're
face.
outta here. Might as well go, Linear. I thought there might be something interesting because it was the army. But when we were done talking, they just told us to get out. Talk about rude. That Eugene guy's really weird.
Yeah, he's a bit of a creeper. Also, he's the villain. Because, obviously, this game is not subtle about anything. Nor is it terribly well done. But, you know, it's...
How are things?
There are bits that I think are interesting about this game, but... Man, I see so much in this game that could be... That could make it so much better than it is the best way to put it, I guess.
Sensors are operating normally.
Also, your mouth isn't moving.
As you can see, we are now beginning
You can tell these characters weren't originally dubbed, because no one was.
This stubborn old thing is finally beginning to work, I see. Good. I have already dealt with the ministries and had negotiations with the society. Now, the silly old men in the Imperial Senate will oppose the
I'm clearly evil. Evil, 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 evil.
Notify the society. We are blockading the ruins as originally planned. The 8th Imperial
And then no one can get in.
Yes, sir.
That Linear girl.
Oh my god, that face is even better.
I'd love to have her around the
Ugh.
Yes, indeed.
Ugh.
That must be Linear playing her ocarina. Ah, I never get tired of hearing that sound.
Play Saria's song.
Yes, it has a soothing effect on the listener's mind. It's the timbre. By the way, do you remember when Lydia first came to us?
Yeah, that was a rough time. She said nothing about my father's letter, and she was so...
And she hasn't said anything since because she's a mute.
Yes, but when you played the ocarina, she somehow calmed down.
After that, she practiced the ocarina every day. It didn't take her long to get better than me. That Linear.
That's a dead plant. And now it's a magically not dead plant.
Lynia's powers brought the dead flowers back to life. Her powers never ceased to...
And they haven't put 2 and 2 together just yet.
Oh, so that's why the flowers around the house are in bloom all year round. Hey, wait a minute. No one ever told me that Linear had that kind of talent.
She literally used it on you in gameplay. In the dungeon, buddy.
You didn't know? Well, of course you didn't know, Mag.
You're an idiot.
That's because Linia tended the flowers early in the morning, when you were still sound asleep. The flowers
And you lack any form of observational skills.
I haven't seen such amazing powers in a long time.
Linear. Way to go, Linear. Tell me how she does it. Come on, please.
When kind-hearted Linia sees a living thing in pain or distress, she must feel that pain herself. Perhaps God prolongs the flower's life so that Linia won't be saddened by its withering.
That's a bit of a stretch there, buddy, but okay.
But perhaps I am a tad too romantic.
Or just straight up insane.
Yeah, maybe a little. But still, it's great that Linear has that kind of talent.
Are we stacking more cutscenes on cutscenes?
Sir, a massive energy reaction.
I guess we are.
It is, it's huge.
Aha! So it is here after all.
I'm guessing this scene would happen after, like, another dungeon or something like this to sort of show that they're progressing. And they just don't have that dungeon in this version.
Evolution, the most important legacy from the ancient civilization.
Sir, I have the numbers. The first response was indeterminate. Then 9,200. No, 9,300 every 2.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. But where?
Approximately 20 verses northwest of here, near Panam Town, sir.
Panam Town. Ah, yes, the whole
You know,
Rock
with
Launcher.
that weird girl, that definitely is the key to all this.
Flying is in order. I wonder what we will find.
That no one seems to pick up on, even though it's incredibly obvious.
Listen, send a message to the homeland requesting official deployment of the 4th Fleet, now on standby. Tell them we need reinforcements to protect the research vessel. They'll believe that.
I feel like there should be something in that. It's just a jar. Oh my god. It's just like, what, the 5th cutscene they've stacked on top of each other?
Ah, my sweet Linear. What a coincidence that we should meet at a place like this. This rendezvous of ours must have been predestined by fate.
Or she's the exact thing you're looking for.
I had these brought here just for you. I hope you like roses. Roses and women both begin to lose their beauty once they have blossomed. Wouldn't you agree, my dear?
You are a total monster.
Don't you get it? A rose is most beautiful when it first begins to bud. And so it is
You are a total monster.
with you.
It's you're almost comically evil.
Now, Linear, you and I will be together.
What?
Hey, Linear, is the tea ready yet?
Drat! Right at the good part. Well, if it isn't Mag Launcher, I trust.
This game is weirdly paced.
You! Eugene, what are you doing here?
Yeah, again, like, I think they only have the ability to, like, animate talking with a smiley face. It's very weird to see that.
Today I thought I would take a break from work and mingle with ordinary civilians such as yourself. As two people both searching for Evolution, we should learn to see eye to eye, don't you think?
I mean, you were a dick to me the one time I met you, and you were a total creeper, so no?
Standing around talking here, I will sample your local hospitality at that shabby-looking house over there.
Why would you invite him in?
I can
We've been sitting in cutscenes for like 20 minutes.
No one knows. We haven't heard anything from him since he wrote the letter that Linear was carrying that day.
That is correct. Linear has already been with us for 3
I feel like you're giving him a lot of information you shouldn't be giving him.
Ah, so she was not born into this family?
Nope.
No,
She's a mysterious girl with magical powers that just showed up one day.
first time we ever
But,
saw her.
you know, it's a secret. No one knows that.
So she is not a launcher by blood?
I already told you. She first came here 3 years ago carrying
I mean, she could be.
Of course, she's family now, isn't it?
You don't suppose? 3 years ago. So that's it. Now.
I understand. I'm taking her into custody. Also, you have the wonkiest walking animation.
Now, I just remembered something wonderful that I must do immediately.
Huh? What's he talking about? What's something wonderful?
He's gonna kidnap her.
That guy is just...
And be very, very creepy about it, I'm sure.
Do you think he and I will ever see eye to eye?
No. You're right, let's stop inviting him over. And letting him creep on you.
What shall I do, Your Highness?
Get her! Get the girl!
Your Highness.
Well, that escalated quickly. Let's kidnap her. I mean, we only met literally like 10 minutes ago, but we're kidnapping now. Also, the potted plant that was out in front of their house is now missing. Inconsistency!
What's that Eugene up to? Why did he leave in such a hurry?
To kidnap Linear, who was right there. And actually, you know, he was there. He had a weapon. Plus, he had dudes. They could have just stormed the place right then and there and kidnapped her. Probably wouldn't have been hard.
All right then. Come on, Linear.
Good luck to the both of you.
This game, when it actually lets you play it as a game, it's not bad. It's not good, but it's not bad.
Yeah, I
But, like, it's just so weirdly paced.
to prove just how good I am, eh?
Like, I don't know too many games that stack so many cutscenes on top of each other, and I'm thinking that's because they cut it down as much as they did.
With those 8th Imperial Army goons out
But,
looking for evolution,
you know, you get to the dungeon crawling, it's a bit wonky. You get to the RPG, it's solid. Even if there is some stuff that could be better explained. But, I don't know. I've got so many fond memories of playing this once. And even then, I don't think I thought this game was particularly good. But I was interested in seeing what it was going to be like. And, so far I'm not terribly impressed with it by any means. But it's not horrible. I certainly wouldn't pay the $300 the Retro Game Shop in town had this for, but, you know, if you could get this for like maybe 20 bucks, it might be good for an evening or two.
I'll get you clearance right away. You can leave on your new adventure when... Well then, good luck.
come on, Linear.
I'm just looking for a save point. Just give me one of those, please. I don't think this is one of those things where I can just go into the menu and save. Oh, yeah, it is. Alright, cool. So I think that'll be it for tonight. I just wanted to explore what this game was, and if it was anywhere near as... I don't want to say good, but, like, as much as what I remember it being. And honestly, I think I remember this game far more fondly than it actually is, because the story is very weirdly paced, and part of that's just because of what it is as a compilation. The dungeon crawling, if you tweaked some things, would actually be really quite fun. If a little bland and sort of one note, because, I mean, each dungeon really only has one tile set. And the RPG mechanics, they're okay. They're pretty bog standard, but overall, I think that Evolution Worlds is so far certainly not worth the money it seems to be going for. I don't think it's bad, but I think it's definitely one of those games you kind of put in your collection to fill out a spot because you like RPGs, but not because you absolutely need it in your life. I'm kind of thinking about playing through this on my own time. Kind of thinking about maybe trying to like stream a playthrough at some point. I don't know, but anyway, that has been my first impressions of Evolution Worlds. It's not horrible, but it's certainly not great. It's subpar is probably the best word for it. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, follow the stream to know when we go live, because we try and stream as often as possible. Hopefully I'll get some N64 multicard stuff done tonight. We'll see. We should be back tomorrow with Skies of Arcadia. Might be finishing Steambot Chronicles this week, so that's kind of cool. Gonna have to figure out what to do after that. And of course, more awesome road trip. That's not road trip, but it was, but it wasn't, but it was. But you might also want to check out and subscribe to my YouTube channel, see everything else I do, which is a lot of stuff. And if you really want to make my day, check out the show's PayPal or Patreon. Support the show any way you can so that I can continue to do what I do to the best of my ability. Which in this case is try and rediscover an old RPG classic? Maybe? Who am I kidding? It's subpar, but you know, I had fond memories of this and I wanted to re-experience it, and it's not as good as I remember it being. But I'm glad I've got it, and I'm thinking about doing some more of this, but we'll see. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Peace out, Internet.